Hope you are having a fantastic evening. And we finally got the details to the Brock Purdy contract. And more importantly, we got the cap hits, the outs, all of it. Very, very pleased. All right. Welcome back to Last Second Sports, where we are giving you our take down to the last second. I couldn't be happier right now. This Brock Purdy contract is written so well. The 49ers have done a fantastic job. I mean, if I were to explain this the way David Lombardi would, I would say this is a masterclass by the 49ers. And I truly mean that. I think they absolutely crushed this deal. But we will get into the details here in just a second. Let's see what you guys think. Jody says this is a great contract for both parties. Nick says, do you think there's anything to Matt Jones being signed to a 2-year deal and Brock Purdy's deal basically being able to get out after 2026? You mean Mac Jones? Mac Jones, I assume. No, because it's their contracts line up. The contract demonstrates why getting a deal done is better than tagging someone. Yes and no. I mean, there are some benefits to doing what they did versus tagging, but there's also some benefits to tagging. We'll actually go through those together. Let's see. I see that one. I see that one. So happy for Brock. Yeah, that's the other thing though too is, again, it's not about winning and losing. It's about coming together and making a contract that works for both parties. Brock Purdy is paid. Brock Purdy is taken care of. There's nothing to worry about from the Brock Purdy standpoint. And when it comes to players getting paid, I'm all in favor for that. Brock Purdy deserved to have this contract. He deserved to get life-changing money. I couldn't be happier for him. But also, I do want it in the sense that the 49ers are able to be flexible with this. And that's exactly what they got. So to me, it is truly a win-win contract. But I care more about the team's future than anything. And that's why I wanted to wait. And if this thing was structured poorly, I would tell you, hey, this is a piss poor contract. Not at all happy with it. I think that the 49ers should have done different. But I think they did a fantastic job. They did an awesome job. So let's just go into it. Show you this real quick. And then I'm going to show you comparisons too to other contracts around the league that the 49ers had, or not the 49ers, but other players have signed in recent years. Okay. All right. Hopefully you can see that. You guys let me know. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. Hopefully this helps. Okay. All right. Here's what we're looking at. We're looking at the first year of the deal. Now, keep in mind, because this contract was signed before 2025 season started, they get to push some of that money into this year's cap, which is awesome. So this year's cap hit, it went from like 5.6 million up to 9.1. Not a drastic change. Obviously, the 49ers have plenty of cap space. This is a non-issue. Now, you also see a big number here. If they were to cut Brock, they're not... Nobody's getting cut before the contract actually goes into place. So this number here is completely irrelevant. And it's really irrelevant the first year in as well. So we don't have x-ray vision. You can't see it. You good? Oh, man. X-ray vision, Nicholas. I mean, I feel like you just might be old, brother. I don't know what to tell you. Is that better? Feel like... There we go. That's as good as it's going to get, brother. Hopefully you can see this. Okay. So his cap number is 9.1 million essentially this year. Not a big number at all. Next year, that cap number jumps up to 24.7. But remember, the salary cap is going to continue to go up. So 24.7 million is nothing. I mean, this is peanuts. Not a big deal at all. Now, if they were to cut him next offseason, they would accrue a cap hit of $91 million essentially. That's not going to happen. But here is where the magic does happen. Essentially, Brock got a 1-year extension. So he was already under contract for 2025. They basically extended him through 2026 and can make a decision after that if they want. Because right here, if they cut him after the 2026 season, they're only going to pay 36 million in dead cap, which in 2 years from now is going to be nothing. They're paying like 80 million this year in dead cap alone. And that's without the salary cap going up significantly in 2 years. So they truly can get out of this contract after the very first year of the new deal. That's crazy. Now, if they choose not to, which I actually imagine that they will not exercise that unless he's awful or something like that, then his cap hit will be 30.8 million in the second year of the new contract, basically 2027. And if they decide to get out of it after that, there's only a 16 million dead cap hit. I also imagine that something is going to change. They're going to know who Brock Purdy is if he's truly their franchise quarterback. And after the 2027 season, they're going to make a major decision because they're not going to want this cap hit to climb the way that it does here. So I would imagine if he's awful, they're going to know pretty quickly. They would cut him after 2026. I don't foresee that happening. I really don't. If he's awesome, then they'll rework his deal after 2027. They'll give him more guaranteed money because he basically runs out at this point. They'll drive this cap number down and they'll continue to keep things moving. This deal is structured so well. So well. I mean, these cap hits are nothing. They're basically nothing. Think about it like this. So let's say the 49ers had gone the route of franchise tagging him. Let's say they had kept this cap number this year at like 5.6 million or whatever it was. They had franchise tagged him next year. I think the cap number, the franchise tag number next year is roughly going to be around 46 million-ish. That would have been his full cap number. Now, the benefit to franchise tagging him is that there's no dead money if you cut him. It's just you're free and clear. You're good to go. No dead money. However, the downside is that cap number is full upfront. It is what it is, fully guaranteed. The cap number actually would be like $22 million more than what it's going to be on the new contract. And then if you were to franchise tag him again, that cap number is going to go to like $56 million. And if they were to cut him after that and not sign him, yes, there would be zero cap hit, but there's only a $16 million cap hit if they decide not to pick up the year after. So to me, why not drive down that cap number? You still have the same outs. Yes, you'll have dead cap if you cut him. Sure, that is true. 49ers crushed this, guys. Absolutely crushed this whole thing. It is... Listen, boss, you're not lying, and I'm going to prove it here in a minute. This is the best quarterback structured contract out of all of the guys that have gotten paid in the last 2 seasons. The best. Absolutely insane. Insane. Yeah, this is factual. We do. Remember that Brock agreed to this and could have pushed this further out. He agreed to this team-friendly deal. Give him credit. Sure. I'll give him a little credit. I also want to point out, and I said this, I don't know, 4 months ago, I said Brock Purdy is likely going to sign a deal that is going to be heavily team friendly. And there's going to be a lot of people that will come out and praise Brock. But really, what the deal tells you is what the 49ers think of him. So, yeah, I will give him credit for not dragging it out, I guess. But this deal says, Brock got his money. First of all, Brock is not hurting for money. So let's be clear about that. Brock is taken care of. That is awesome. But this deal also says all the things that I've been saying about Brock Purdy, the 49ers also are curious. They don't know for sure what he is. And this contract says it. And that's okay. That's totally okay, because if he is who they hope he is, he's going to get another extension after 2027 and make even more money and be here even longer. Like, this deal gives Brock Purdy the reason that I prefer this deal to even the franchise tag route, even if they cut him, yes, there's dead money, is that Brock Purdy gets more of a guarantee. So he, the individual, is protected even better. He gets more money than he would have. And the 49ers still have the flexibility of getting out of this deal every year, essentially, after 2026. So this deal is great for both sides. But this deal also clearly states, hey, we like you. Everything that's happened so far is awesome. But we don't exactly know what you are. You might be elite. And if you are, then we're going to make it through those first 3 years. We're going to rework this and you're going to be here forever. But you might be a pumpkin. And if you are, we're going to take our outs and move on from you. And we're comfortable with that. So to me, I love this deal for those reasons. And it does say, regardless of all the trepidation that I've had, that the 49ers also have a little bit of trepidation, and that's okay. We're talking about a player who's put together 2 full seasons. It's okay to wonder what he is. And we'll get our answer. The 49ers will get their answer, and they'll either be able to move on from him if he's not great, or they'll be able to rework a deal, keep him here long term, and drive these cap numbers down again entering the 2028 season. This is an awesome contract. Awesome contract. Yosu says he got paid and what he has done for them in the past, and the Niners now get the protection if he doesn't pan out the next few seasons. Yeah, I mean, here's the way that I look at it. When a player, what Brock has done so far has earned him the right to enter a contract negotiation with his chest out. And that's what it earned him the right to actually negotiate a new contract. That's what he's done so far. This contract says, we don't know what you're going to do from this day forward. But both of us are protected in case this thing goes south. You're protected for injury, which is awesome because he has had some injuries. You're protected from a financial standpoint of a bunch of guaranteed money that is going to set you up for life, regardless of what happens from this day forward. And we're protected in the standpoint that, hey, if you do get injured or you aren't who we hope you are, we're out and we're good. So this works well for both teams or both sides. It really does. It really does. It is a true win-win. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. The fact that this deal is best of all QB deals out there team-wise is insane that the Niners pulled this off. Well, it is, Arter, because it's happening a year later. It's happening after everybody else got paid. That's what's crazy about this, is that they got the best deal and they did it after the salary cap jumped up significantly and after every other deal was out there. I will say, to me, this kind of points to probably the fact that Brock Purdy's agent is new to this, that they were able to get this done. They were able to take a little bit of advantage of him. Not a lot. Again, Brock Purdy's fine. But in the way that they have the outs built and how quickly they have them, I mean, they crush this. They absolutely crush this. So let's do this. Let's look at those other contracts real quick. So wanted to put this together just so that you can kind of see visually. Now, all of this, I also want to say this. I do prefer Spot Rack. Spot Rack, however, does not have the contract fully updated. They actually loaded the contract within the last hour, but they don't have the dead money right if he were cut. And so I can't use Spot Rack the way that I would like to. But they are almost lockstep identical from a salary cap hit standpoint as over the cap. So all of these numbers, to keep it fair and even, are pulled from over the cap. Again, I do prefer Spot Rack. I think they're usually not too far off from each other. It's not like there's major discrepancies, but Spot Rack is usually a little more accurate. But it's not so far off that this is going to be all of a sudden a bad contract. Like today it's good, and then tomorrow Spot Rack fully updates and I go, oh man, I was wrong. No, it's not like that. It's just slightly more accurate usually. But either way, not a big deal. I pulled all of these from over the cap. Okay. I want to show you the first number you're going to see here is the cap hit for that year. And the second number is if they cut you before that season starts, what your cap hit's going to be. So we were just looking at Brock, right? We know that if they cut him before the 2027 season, specifically before April 1st, because that's when all these guarantees start to kick in for him. So if they cut him before April 1st, they will accrue essentially a $36 million dead cap hit. That's what you're going to see reflected here. If they decide to go forward and keep him for the 2027 season, it'll be $31 million against the cap. Okay. Now, for Brock, I've got the years entered in. For the other players, it's a little bit different because they signed their deals last year or the year prior. But you're going to notice that out of all of these players, only two of them have a sweet spot after 2 years. And that is Love and that is Purdy. That's pretty fantastic. And what's even crazier is Brock Purdy's contract is a 5-year deal. The reason that Love has his outs after 2 is because it was a 4-year deal. So the fact that the 49ers signed a 5-year deal, still have an out after 2 years, and it's that low is so impressive to me. So impressive to me. The Eagles put together a masterclass as well, but theirs is they've got the 3 years. They've got the 3 years before they can fully get out. Now, their cap hit's lower than what the 49ers would be with Purdy, but overall, that extra year is in place. So here's what it looks like. The last year of the current deal for all the players. Brock Purdy's salary cap, his hit, ranks first. It is the lowest out of all of these players in their final year of their old deal once the new deal was signed. Okay. Salary cap in year 2. Brock Purdy is number 3. But also, you have to remember, these are raw numbers. And because these are raw numbers, we have to take into account that the salary cap has gone up in every single year. So even though it's number 3 here, it's not by a wide margin. From a percentage standpoint, it's right in line with that Hurts deal. Okay. Year 3, his salary cap number is the lowest. The lowest. Remember, he signed his deal 2 full years after Jalen Hurts. A full year after Love, Tua, Lawrence, and Goff, and yet still has in year two of the new deal, but year three overall, the lowest cap hit. The lowest cap hit. And the second lowest dead money if they move on from him. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy that they were able to get that done a year or even in some cases 2 years later. The 49ers crushed this deal. Crushed this deal. Guys, you know me. If I'm not happy, you'll know. I couldn't be happier. When I was talking about the details of this deal a couple days ago, I said, you know, if it's structured like Hurts or Love, they knock this out of the park. It's structured better than both of them. It's better than both of them. They're not taking the massive cap hits that Miami's going to take because of Tua. I mean, this is frankly, this deal and this deal are awful comparatively. They're not bad deals by any means, but when you compare it to the rest, I mean, my goodness. Now, Goff is understandable because this is his second deal, right? This is third overall. But man, again, say what we want about Prague, but my man knows what he's doing. My man knows exactly what he's doing. And the 49ers have a choice after 2027. Excuse me, after 2026. They're either going to move on from Brock because something has gone horribly wrong, and they're going to take a $36 million dead cap, which is going to be nothing 2 years from now. Or they're going to say, we love you. We're going to move forward with a $31 million cap hit, which is, again, nothing in 2027. We're going to continue to assess. If things go horribly wrong, then we'll cut you at the end of that year and take a $16 million cap hit. Or they're going to say, we're so happy. We also hate this $57 million cap hit. And I'm sure you want more guaranteed money, right, Brock? Of course you do. Let's rework this deal. Let's extend it 5 more years. Let's drive this cap number down another $20-30 million. And let's do it all over again. And that's exactly what they're going to do. That's exactly what they'll do. They'll have so many options after each one of these years to continue to remain competitive and build the team around Brock. I mean, it's not as much flexibility as if they had franchise tagged him. Let's be clear about that. It is not as much flexibility. However, Brock Purdy is more well taken care of because of this, which is awesome. And the 49ers still have some flexibility. A lot of flexibility. Not some, a lot of flexibility. Just not as much flexibility. And that's okay. To me, for Brock Purdy to be taken care of, just the personal level side of this, I'm willing to take that chance. Have a little bit less flexibility, drive down that cap number, and he's also taken care of. This is 49ers, man. Cap 101, crushed it. Prophet says, I like the rebuild for 2026, 2027 direction, but my only issue is we have no clue what core guys like CMC, Trent, and Kittle will look like at this time. First of all, I don't think CMC or Trent are making it past 20 or into 2026. I would be I would say there's probably a 75% chance that neither of those guys are on the team in 2026 to start the 2026 season, rather. They'll be on it technically 2026, but 2025 season. I would say there's a 75% chance neither of them are on the team going into next year. So the 49ers are certainly going to have to retool very, very quickly if they are going to win. But what this Brock Purdy contract allows them to do is go out and spend in free agency if they need to, while also drafting. This gives them flexibility both ways. And even more so because they're taking that dead cap hit this year of like 76 million or whatever it is. That is going to be so useful going forward. The 49ers are going to be fine. They're going to be able to build however they want. Now, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be able to build a winner. You're going to have to do it all over again. The way that you did to get to this point. The way you did to get competitive basically 2019 through 2024 or 2023 rather. They're on the hook for that. But because of the flexibility here and that dead cap hit that they're taking on the chin this year and moving on from some of those bad contracts, I mean, I don't know, man. The 49ers are set up for success. But it's on to them. They still have to draft well. They still can't sign bad free agent deals. You know, it doesn't guarantee anything, but it does give them the opportunity to remain competitive. They're not in cap hell anymore or potential cap hell in the future because they did what they did this offseason. And that was the smartest thing they did. This is the second smartest thing, but overall crushed it. Gotti says the fact that you signed off on the deal gives me confidence. Sometimes you drive me crazy because you hold the 49ers in the front office accountable. You are the definition of tough love. Keep up the work. Yeah, for sure, man. I understand that and I appreciate it, but I appreciate that you're like giving credit here too, because I think people are just like, oh, you're always negative. You'll never give them credit. That's not true. You're not listening day in and day out. You popped in, you got frustrated, you tuned out. I do shows with certain people, so you just assume that their take is my take and you write your own story, and that's fine. But the reality is I feel like I'm very fair. If the 49ers do something well, they're going to get credit. I mean, I feel like all offseason I've praised them for 90% of what they've done. And I'm just continuing to do so. I think they've done a really good job this offseason. Now, no, this offseason has not set them up to win a Super Bowl this season. That's okay. You can't choose both. The 49ers have an aging roster. They had a lot of money put into some of those aging vets. They'd made some bad decisions throughout the draft over the last few years. They've made some bad free agent signings, and they were at a turning point. Now, they could have gone the Saints route, which was, I mean, we'll continue to pretend that we're really contenders and we'll continue to kick the can down the road on all these awful contracts at the detriment of the future of this team. Or we can take a step back, still be competitive, by the way. It's not like they're going to be 6-11 again, barring major injuries, which can happen, right? But just this roster, this schedule, if they have injuries to a normal standard, they're going to be okay. They're at least going to put up their 9 wins, possibly as many as 12, and give themselves a real shot to make the playoffs. And then once they make the playoffs, technically anything can happen. You don't know who's going to be hurt from other teams, but most likely they're a one and done type team. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm fine with that. But next year, they're going to have all the things at their disposal that they need to be successful going forward. They'll have a year with these rookies where they've been able to build on and learn what the league is. They'll have a full bevy of draft picks next year, and they'll have a ton of money to play with. That's all I can ask for. That is why last year, after 4 weeks, I said, this team is cooked. It is obvious. Start the rebuild now and put yourselves in a really good situation. Now, if they had listened at that time, they would have been a little bit further ahead. They could have been big players in free agency this year if they chose to. Maybe been a little bit more competitive this year. But because they chose to not sit on it any longer, and at the end of this last season decided these are bad contracts, these were bad moves, let's cut our losses and move on, they're setting themselves up for a potential bright future. That's all we can ask for. They at least are putting themselves in a position where they can compete at the highest levels. That's it. And we'll take that. We'll take that. Sean says the Niners just set a new precedent for quarterback contracts for mid-tier players that overachieve. This should have been the Tua deal and Daniel Jones deal. I'm proud of the front office for showing growth post Jimmy G. That Jimmy G contract was a masterclass as well. Now, the 49ers never exercised their right to get out of that, but they easily could have. They easily could have, for sure. And I will tell you, the 49ers are, what they did learn, though, Sean, is to not just sit on their hands. Like the reason they couldn't take the outs on the Jimmy contract is because they didn't have any other options. At that point, they had no other options, which left them scrambling. They're like, shoot, we would love to take the out on this deal, but we don't have another option. Let's trade all of our picks for the next 3 years and try to go get a replacement. That backfired. And unfortunately, they had to let Jimmy hang around. If this deal backfires, if Brock Purdy isn't who they hope he is, they've done a good job of bringing in Mac Jones, who's a guy that Kyle Shanahan likes, while also drafting a quarterback last year and drafting a quarterback this year. Or I think Mordecai was undrafted. But either way, bringing in a young quarterback last year and then drafting one this year who's essentially going to redshirt with that ACL, but has potential. So the 49ers have got quarterbacks on the roster that might turn into something. They might not. That's okay. And really what you hope for is that Brock Purdy just pans out and you don't have to worry about any of that nonsense. But just in case, they've given themselves inexpensive options before even entering the negotiations here. With Jimmy Garoppolo, they didn't have any options. None. Zero. That's different this time around. So they did learn. They did learn. Propa says, considering the cupcake schedule, is there anything they could show this year that would make you consider them an actual Super Bowl contender? I would say I think it's less of what the 49ers do and more so what does the league show me. If the league shows me that maybe the NFC isn't improving the way that it seems to be on paper, then yeah, I mean, they could be Super Bowl contenders. I mean, if the 4-man front last night, we talked about if the 49ers make the playoffs, that means there's a team that has to miss the playoffs. We came up in totality with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams. 5 teams. 5 of the 8 playoff teams from last year that we could see taking a major step back. Now, that doesn't mean not all of them are going to, but one of them is assured to do so, which gives the 49ers a major opportunity to get in. Most likely, at least 2 of them are going to take a step back. And if that happens, things can start to open up a little bit. However, there will also be another team besides the 49ers that will likely take a step forward. So But like if they enter the playoffs, let's say they win 12 games. I don't know, they get the number 2 seed. So that means they got home field going into the playoffs. They won the division, they got the 2 seed. They've done everything they can do to set themselves up. Let's say the number 1 seed is like last year with Detroit. When Detroit, by the time Detroit had made it to the playoffs, they were shot. They were done. That roster was so depleted. That's great that they earned the playoff spot, that they earned the number 1 seed. But they didn't have any depth. They were done. It was over. And it was very clear from the beginning of that playoff game. That was it. So, yeah, I would say to me, it's as much to do with how else the rest of the NFC plays out. And it is a long season. It's a war of attrition. Technically, anything can happen. I think the most likely scenario is one and done. But I'm okay with that. I will also say, you said Super Bowl contender, which means making the Super Bowl. That is very different than winning the Super Bowl. This team's not winning the Super Bowl. The AFC is just too good. So even if they do make it out of the NFC and you have to play Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, it's not going to happen. It's not. But that's fine. That's fine. I'm not worried. Them not winning a Super Bowl this year is not a disappointment to me. I'm not going to sit up here at the end of the year if they make the playoffs and be like, well, I mean, guys, this was totally screwed themselves. What a disappointment. 49ers were a disappointment in 2026. The only way that you'll get that rhetoric from me is if they don't make the play. If the 49ers don't make the playoffs, it is a disappointment. If the 49ers don't make the playoffs, and let's say, George Kittle shows that he's old overnight or something, and that contract's a bad contract, be like, oh man, here we go. This ain't good. But there's not a lot of outcomes truly at the end of 2026 that are going to have me looking at the 49ers going, they screwed up. This was a bad season. I can't foresee those things happening. I can't foresee Brock Purdy being awful, which is, it would take that. I can't foresee this team just wetting the bed completely and going 6-11 again. That would warrant the response from me. But I genuinely can't see those things happening. And so to me, I feel like I'm going to end the season and say, yeah, they didn't win a Super Bowl. Awesome season. Future looks bright. That's what I'm expecting to end the season with. And I hope that I'm right about that. Joseph says, what does this team need to beat the AFC if they're in a Super Bowl? Well, this team is loaded, meaning to me, when you say this team, it's the 2025 season. I mean, realistically, it's just not going to happen. But when you say this team, that could also mean the future. They're going to have to hit on this draft pick that they currently had. They're going to have to hit one more time, and they're going to have to probably add a key free agent or two. But really, they're going to have to beef up the offensive line. They're going to have to win in the trenches. They're going to have to get more depth on the defensive line, and they're going to have to beef up the starting unit of the offensive line, in my opinion, for me to feel comfortable. I look at teams, you look at some of those teams in the AFC and just, I mean, elite quarterbacks for one, which is you're already behind the 8 ball. Elite coaches in some cases, and either a dominant offense or defensive line, and in some cases both. So you can't go into a Super Bowl and say, all right, we probably don't have the best quarterback. We may not even have the best head coach in this matchup. And we don't have the best offensive or defensive line either. You're going to lose those games, barring a miracle. You can't be the worst in all of those categories. You're just not going to win. So for me, really, they need one more offseason. They just need one more offseason. And they need to hit in the draft. And hitting in the draft also doesn't mean that every player they took this year is a hit. That's not what that means. What it means is, realistically, 2 of those 3 defensive linemen need to be true starters. Doesn't matter which 2, really. It doesn't matter which 2. And 2 more players in this draft have to be serious contributors in one way or another. Doesn't mean they have to be elite, but they have to be able to play, 50% of the snaps, or when they come in, they make an impact, something like that. It doesn't mean that all 11 picks have to hit. It realistically means 4 picks have to hit, and not at an all-star level, but at 2 of them have to be at an above average starting level. You hope that one is elite, and 2 of them have to be serious contributors. Not the best at their position by any means, maybe not even starters, but they're playing, 50, 60% of the snaps and they're contributing. So you look at like a linebacker, for example, or a nickel corner, or a safety that comes in and plays nickel. However that pans out, the way that I see it is, if they're playing a good amount of snaps and they're contributing when they're on the field and they're a difference maker, I'm good with that. And then 2 of those defensive linemen are true starters, and hopefully one is really good. And then you can have 6 picks that practice squad guys, cut candidates. I mean, look at last year's draft as an example. Right now, that draft hit is a hit in our eyes. I don't know that there's an elite player that came out of it. There's a really good player in Purdy, really good guard. He's not a elite though. Potentially elite, but right now he's not elite. Renardo Green, we think, is a good starting corner. Malik Mustafa, we think, is a good starting safety. And then Ricky is showing some promise. I mean, that's your 4 right there, potentially. Now, let's say one of them doesn't pan out, but Garendo can play 50% of the snaps and be good. It's still a good draft class. But it's not like we're saying, oh, they had 9 picks and all 9 were home runs. No, you don't need that. It's not realistic. That doesn't happen for the most part in drafts. And the fact that they had 11 picks, I mean, half of them are probably not going to be on this team in 2 years, 3 years. Like that's realistic, and that's okay. But if that happens, that doesn't mean that the draft sucks. They could have easily still knocked the draft out of the park. They could have hit a home run with it. And then they need to do that again next year. So Paul Third says, so he signed this contract. No, he was hitting a high salary for 3 years. He just gave them a massive discount. The cap could be 320 to 340 million by then. Yeah, I mean, he gave himself security is what he did. He gave himself financial security. The money he's getting is life-changing money. He's getting life-changing money. He gave himself financial security. And that's awesome. That's what he ultimately did. And also, if he's improving and still showing that he's the franchise guy in a couple years, he's going to give himself a short turnaround for a big payday, because the 49ers are not going to want to enter the 2028 season with a $58 million essentially cap hit. They're not. They're going to want to rework it. So if he plays well in 25, 26, and 27, he's going to earn another new contract. And to your point, the salary cap might be 320 to 340. And he's going to get another handsome payday that gives him a lot of money. So he'll be okay. It's not all bad for Brock. I mean, I talked about this from the team side, some of these outs and whatnot. Listen, this could be a major win for Brock if he continues to play well. So he'll be all right. Samir says, "Hey, been hella looking forward to this show. Thank you. Appreciate you, Samir, man. Longtime supporter of the channel, 17-month member, man. That's crazy. That is absolutely insane. Insane. I want to share something with you guys real quick. So give me a second. I should have had this prepared, but I got so excited that the Brock Purdy deal dropped that I didn't have it prepared at all. I didn't have it prepared, and I should have. That's on me. All right, here we go. I'm going to drop something in the chat for y'all. Drop something in the chat. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I'm kind of an idiot, low key, actually. I'm kind of an idiot. I didn't set up this stream at all. I got so excited and so ahead of myself with this contract dropping that I didn't even set the stream up properly. I'm surprised that there's this many of you in the chat. Thank you. But I did nothing to alert you. Literally nothing. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. But I'm going to have to go pull what I was looking for a different way. So bear with me, please, because it's important. No, that's not what I want. Hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. This is really annoying that I have to do it this way. I apologize. But I've got to. I've got to do it this way. No. There we go. My gosh. My bad, guys. My bad. My bad. My bad. Hopefully I didn't lag out on you. Okay. Sorry. Here we go. I'm going to post this in here. Hopefully this link works. Is that link even clickable? Let me know. I don't even know if that link is clickable. And if it's not, that sucks. Because no. Okay. All right. You know what? It is clickable. Link doesn't work. Clickable. Link doesn't work. All right. I had a feeling that was going to happen. All right. So here's what I'm going to say. If you go to my page and you go to the membership, or not the membership, but you go to posts, it'll be there. It'll be there. Actually, hold on a second. I might be able to do it this way. I don't understand why I can't even click into my own YouTube video. That's crazy. That's nasty work. Nasty work, YouTube. There we go. Got it. All right. Here we go. Here we go. I think I got it. That link should work. That link should work. And I'll pin it. Okay. All right. So for those of you that know, I do on Tuesdays throughout the regular season and partly through the off season, if news breaks, whatever. I do shows on an NFC West roundtable with a Rams guy, a Cardinals guy, a Seahawks guy, all of which who have been on my channel for Behind Enemy Lines. And it's for a company called Roundtable Sports. Well, they have a channel for all the divisions, okay? However, the NFC West Roundtable is crushed, absolutely crushed it, okay? To the extent that they want to do an in-person event. And they're buying a bunch of bulk tickets to the Thursday night game with the Rams and the 49ers. In those bulk tickets is going to be myself, the other 3 content creators, and then whoever wants to go to the game. That link, what it does is you put $100 deposit down if you're interested in going. That allows Roundtable Sports to see and gauge interest. That will get you access to purchase the tickets when they become available. We're talking all in like $300. Okay. So $100 plus another $200. We're not talking a lot of money. I will tell you, when I went to SoFi last year, I spent $800 on tickets. Okay. Just tickets alone. So they're buying tickets in bulk, which drives down the price. But also with that, there's going to be a sick event there's like a indoor outdoor bar at SoFi that we're trying to get locked in to do an event the night before, a live podcast from there. The bar is sick, absolutely sick. It's insane. So you'll have access to that live event. Hang out with us Wednesday night, rather. The game's on Thursday. We're going to tailgate Thursday. SoFi tailgating is awesome. And then we're all going to sit together as a group at the game. And we're talking $300 all in for tickets to the game, tickets to the event, and also tailgating. So for those of you that are interested, please go secure your spot now, $100 deposit. That deposit will go towards the tickets. Now, also, there is a possibility that Roundtable Sports looks at it and says, hey, only 30 people wanted to go. That's not enough for us to do this event. At that point, they will refund you your $100 and the event would not go on. So my ask is, if it's something you're interested in, please secure the spot. That will help guarantee that the event happens. And then we'll have an awesome time together. So that's my little spiel. Hopefully you're interested. Hopefully you want to go. And we get to have an awesome time. So there you go. Link is pinned to the top of the chat. For those of you that are joining recently, though, who that's the problem. They're basically going to leave this link open for the next 7 days. They're going to take a 7-day sample size because they have to buy the tickets pretty early. They're going to take a 7-day sample size and say, hey, we either have enough interest to move forward, buy the tickets, and then open things up, or, hey, not enough interest, we got to refund this money and moving forward. So that's the way that it's going to work. It's a short turnaround. It sucks. We're literally in May. But if they don't buy the tickets quickly, then the tickets may not be available. Right. And they're buying like minimum 35 tickets, upwards of 100 potentially, depending on signups. And that is going to drive down the prices so that they can put on the event. So that's the way that it works. I mean, it's business, just business. But yeah, I think that would be awesome, man. I think it would be a lot of fun. So send her private jet. I wish I had a private jet, brother. Listen, if I had a private jet, I would just buy the tickets and then the first 50 people to sign up would just go. Be like, hey, first come, first serve, go sign up now. You'll be at the game. Like, that's the way that would go. If I had private jet money, y'all would be taken care of. Trust me. So I don't though. I don't have private jet money. So, and again, there's literally no risk. It's not like you're out of your money. If the event gets canceled, you will be refunded. So, I mean, you're either getting your money back within 2 weeks, or the event goes on and you'll spend another $200 to get your ticket, and you'll have a ticket to the game, you'll have a ticket to the event, and join us on the tailgate and kick it with us for 2 days essentially. So, I think it's a win-win no matter what. It's a win-win. That being said, though, there is a bunch of people that have just joined, and I'm not trying to turn this into a sales pitch or anything like that. I just want to throw the opportunity out to you guys. But for those of you that have just joined, the 49ers crushed this deal with Brock Purdy. This is the best, not one of the best. This is the best written deal for any team that has signed a contract in the last 3 seasons. They crushed this. Salary cap numbers are low. Outs are available. Cap hits are very small if they take advantage of those outs. And if Brock Purdy is awesome, they'll rework the deal before the cap number gets to a level that they're uncomfortable with. Brock Purdy will get more guaranteed money and the cap hits will go back down. The 49ers have set themselves up with this offseason to have major success going forward. They cut all the dead money that they needed to, trimmed all the fat off this roster that they needed to. They've started a youth movement, and they've locked up their quarterback for bare minimum 2 years, and eventually could be 10 to 15 years if they want, truly. And they did it at a number that is going to help them remain competitive if they draft well and hit in free agency when they decide to take those swings. The 49ers are going to be fine. I don't have a negative thing to say about this Brock Purdy contract. I truly don't. There are some things where I could say, oh, maybe if they had done that, but that would be nitpicking. The 49ers absolutely crushed this, and Brock Purdy has life-changing money. So if you're just a fan of a player living out his dream the way that Brock Purdy has been able to this point, then you're happy for him as well. You're happy for him as well. This right here, Space, is literally a nothing burger. It's a nothing burger. When quarterbacks sign these deals, they either don't work out and teams move on, or they do work out and they work out an extension eventually. They don't trade these contracts. This contract was never getting traded. The no trade clause and all of these things that have trickled out over the last couple of days is the agent telling the public, hey, guys, hey, I know that Brock Purdy is my only big-time player. Look at what I did for my guy over here. Crushed it, right? Look at all that guaranteed money. Look at the AAV. Look at the total money. And I got my guy a no trade clause. Come sign with me. That's what that was. That last 5-6 days was his way to peacock around and sell himself as an agent to other players around the National Football League and college athletes that are going to be coming out over the next couple of years. That is what just happened over the last 5 or 6 days. Also, Brock Purdy got his life-changing money, so he is taken care of for sure. But what today is about is the 49ers saying, yeah, that's cool. We took care of Brock. He's great. But let's not act like you got everything, because we won this deal too. We did take a little bit of an advantage of the fact that you are a rookie agent in this whole negotiation sphere. And we got all the things that we wanted as well. We got all the outs. We got all the cap hits. We got all the low dead money values. And we've given ourselves the opportunity to renegotiate after 2027, drive the cap number down again, and keep you long-term and make you even happier. So we also won. By the way, we also won. That's what's happening today. It is possible for both sides to be happy and win a deal. I feel like that's happened here. And that's awesome. That is awesome. But when I look at this, I have to look at this from two sides. One, did Brock Purdy get taken care of? Yes, he did. And I'm happy for him, the person. But I also care about the long-term flexibility for my favorite franchise, and can they remain competitive? Yes, they could have taken care of Brock and given him a Dak Prescott deal or a Tua deal. And in doing so, they would have hurt their future, flexibility, and ability to try to remain competitive. But they didn't do that. And that I care about just as much, if not more. The 49ers got literally the best written contract out of all quarterbacks in the last 3 years. They just did. You look at cap hits, you look at dead cap hits, you look at outs. They didn't lose a single portion of this. Both sides won. It's pretty awesome. Niners going from 80 million in dead cap in 2025 to 20 million in dead cap 2026, and cap numbers going up. Listen, the 49ers are going to have plenty of financial flexibility. And the reason that they're going to have that flexibility is because they made all of the right moves this offseason. Not all. 90% of the right moves. All is a little hyperbolic. But no team makes all the right moves, by the way. The 49ers did about as good as you can hope for as a fan. They did. They did. Even Grant was just so happy for Brock and said that I don't care how bad Brock is. I'm happy he's here till 2030. Listen, he's not here till 2030 if they don't want him to be here. If he's not good, he won't be here till 2030. But I think, listen, Mitchell and Ness, I think a lot of people have it twisted. Again, there's a critique of how a player plays, and then there's the person. And so many people are like, oh, the hate, that they don't decipher the personal side of this. This is not a personal attack when I say, hey, Brock Purdy didn't play up to snuff, or Brock Purdy's not elite. That's not a personal attack. We're talking about him as a player. But I've said a million times that Brock Purdy, from a personal standpoint, has all of the same values that I do. He comes across about as good of a dude as you possibly could. How can anybody genuinely hate Brock Purdy? That's weird. That would be weird. Now, obviously, other fan bases are going to root against him. That's normal. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean they hate the person. I'm going to critique him as a player. That may not go so positively at times, but unless he gets in trouble and shows that he's a genuine bad person, like, no, dude, he's about as good of a dude as you could possibly be, or at least portrays that. I don't know him personally, never will. We don't know any of these guys, but listen, if I was betting money on a player in this league that was about as real as they show and as good of a dude as I think he is, I would put a lot of money on Brock Purdy being that guy. A lot of money. And he's not the only one, but I would put a lot of money on it. I think he's a good dude, man. I like Brock. Doesn't mean he's my favorite quarterback or I don't have questions as a player, but as a person, if I'm drafting people at the quarterback position, top 3 draft pick. Top 3 draft pick. So there's a difference. Look at Brock's cap hit over the next 3 years compared to the rest QBs. Yeah, so keep in mind, this is not the next 3 years. Let me preface this again. Let me lay this out for you guys again. For some of you, this will be the second time through. For some of you, this is the first time through. This is, remember, Love signed a deal last year. Hurts signed it 2 years ago. Tua signed it last year. Lawrence signed it last year. Goff signed it last year. So in some cases, this might be 2024 for some of these guys, or 2023 or what have you. In Brock's case, it's 2025. But when you compare the cap hits to the final year of their old deal that has now been rolled into the new deal, even though Brock signed his contract a year later in some cases, and even 2 years later in one case, he has the best cap hit in the final year of that deal. Now, a lot of that is because he was the last pick in the draft. That is not because the 49ers crushed it. Right? That is mainly because he was the last pick in the draft, to where these other guys were first-round draft picks, or in Goff's case, already had his second contract in place. Okay? But what you are going to see is the cap numbers in year 2 are low still, third best, but from a percentage standpoint, either 1 or 2, because the cap number is going up. This is in comparison. This number here in year 2 is in comparison with potentially different years for some of these guys, right? Like for Hurts, year 2 was last year. And the cap number is still only 3 million over. So we're going last year's overall cap total versus cap number. From a percentage standpoint, we're right in line. But really, this is where I say this is the best deal out of all of them. It is the only one that after 1 year of the new deal being in place, that there's a true out other than Jordan Love. The difference is Jordan Love's contract was only a 4-year deal. Brock's is a 5. So when you compare that to the other, Tua's was a 4-year deal, other 5-year deals, it is the only one that there's an out after the first year of that new deal, and a cap number, a dead cap number that you can live with at $36 million. And oh, by the way, if they decide to play out that third year, it is by far the best from a percentage of the cap standpoint. When you compare that, it's not only the least amount in a cap hit from a pure money standpoint, but again, in comparison to the year in which these years fall for these other quarterbacks, it is by far the lowest from a percentage standpoint. And then if Brock Purdy flops out of nowhere, let's say he's done awesome. They're going into that third year. They love that $31 million cap hit, which is nothing in 2 years. And then disaster strikes. Oh my gosh, Brock Purdy is awful. Okay. See you later, Brock. $16 million. We're moving on. $16 million cap hit, and we're out. Or, you know what, Brock? You were awesome in 25. You were awesome in 26. You were awesome again in 27. You know what's not awesome, though, Brock? Brock, you don't have any more guaranteed money. And we don't want a $57 million cap hit. That doesn't sound fun for either one of us. So, you know what we should do? We should renegotiate this deal, add on another, let's rip this old one up. We'll do another 5-year deal that's going to drive this cap number down another 20, 30 million and give you another 150 million in guarantees. What do you think? How does that sound? And Brock's going to go, yep, love it. Let's do it. And the 49ers are going to start this process all over again. Guys, this is incredible. Absolutely incredible deal for the 49ers. I didn't cry one time about the signing, actually. So when you say you guys, I assume you're doing what I hate, which is you listen to one person that I do shows with, and you assume that's my take. Never once did I cry about the signing. In fact, I said exactly what I promised I would say, which is when he gets signed, I'm not going to have a big reaction one way or another, and I'm going to wait for the details, and then I'm going to decide whether it was a good deal or a bad deal. And I did just that. And I said I would do that 3 months ago. So I don't know. I don't know who you're referencing when you say you guys. What do you mean by you people? Ready? What do you mean by that? Just kidding. Jesse kept it real. He was waiting on the signing bonus, and it ends up to be legit. Yeah, I definitely was. I love this deal. For sure, man. I mean, because sports is all about just having no opinions, man. Just sit back and enjoy it all. And that's for some of you guys, but for me, I like to have an opinion about it. Dude, that's what I'm saying. I cry when I got it. Yeah, dude, that's the thing is Brock Purdy's totally taken care of. He's going to get $100 million for sure right now. And if he gets injured, he's good. Dude, Brock's living fantastic right now. Fantastic. He's good, man. He's good. If it's negative, yeah, whatever. For sure. For sure. He struck gold and the 49ers struck gold, man. This is a great deal on both sides. I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. The 49ers have those outs. Truly, this is a 1-year extension if they want it to be. That's crazy. That's crazy. After 2026, 49ers like, peace. They can do that. I mean, dude, great on both sides. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like we're starting to figure out like who's the new core over the next couple of years. We do know that it's Kittle now. Obviously, I mean, I don't think that's a surprise. But we know that it couldn't be CMC and it couldn't be Trent. I mean, they're up there in age. Fred Warner, we obviously knew that, but now it's in place. Like Fred Warner's got his, Kittle's got his. You hope that Brandon Ayuk can come back and be the guy that you signed him to be after this injury, and he can be a part of that core. You hope maybe Ricky Pearsall can take that jump. He can be a part of that core. Deommodore Lenoir, we know, is a part of that core, and Brock Purdy, we know, is a part of that core. So they do have their core in place. They've got the new core in place. And now it's about building the best roster around that core. But you can only do that if you hit on draft picks and you have financial flexibility. Now, we don't know that they're going to hit on draft picks, but we do know that they have financial flexibility. What more can you ask for? They're giving themselves the opportunity to be successful. So that's it. I mean, that's dude, guys, this is awesome. This is awesome. Trying to see if there's something. Here we go.
It's my team. It's my quarterback.
It's some of you guys in the chat right now. You guys are loving it, huh? It's my team. It's my quarterback. Oh man. No, this is truly a great deal. I hope every 49er fan is happy about this one. I hope that you guys at least know that the future, the opportunity to be successful and competitive in the future remains intact. That is the most important thing as a 49er fan from this deal. And we got that. And then Brock Purdy also got his, which is pretty awesome. So this is good. This is good. Jesse, so let's entertain a scenario where we have to pivot off of Purdy. What would be your strategy in getting a better quarterback to take his place, let's say in 2 years in the future? Well, for one, the 40, if they have to pivot, worst case scenario, literal worst case scenario is after 2026, this thing's just not working out. The only way that you can feel good about it, you're not going to feel great because that means that Brock Purdy either got hurt, which sucks, or he stinks, which sucks. And you're back at the drawing board. No matter what, it's not going to feel great. However, the only way that you can truly win in that scenario is by having opportunities on the roster prior to that. So step one is, what do the 49ers have today? Well, they have 2 young quarterbacks who they're lottery tickets. We don't know. They're lottery tickets, but they could be something. They could be something in Mordecai or the Maple Missile, Rourke. And they have a player who, like the Sam Darnolds or the Geno Smiths or, whoever, Baker Mayfield, was a first-round pick, hasn't lived up to expectations, and has the opportunity to also turn his career around. Now, you've got 3 lottery tickets, different lottery tickets, but 3 lottery tickets. So already they're giving themselves a chance, a much better chance than they gave themselves going into that Jimmy Garoppolo deal. They had no concession plan. Now, those are lottery tickets. Hitting the lottery is not very likely. So all you can do is continue to draft. And at that time, listen, if Brock Purdy didn't pan out, who are the quarterbacks that are free agents? Who's in the draft? How many assets have you acquired? How many draft picks do you have to move up in a draft if you need to? And how much cap space do you have? I mean, that's really what's going to determine it. You hope that Brock Purdy just pans out. That's number one. And if he doesn't, then you hope that one of these lottery tickets hit. And if they don't, then it depends on what all those other things mean at that time. But the 49ers, at the very least, are setting themselves up for success, potentially giving themselves an opportunity if this thing doesn't go well. Good luck with that, brother. Good luck with that. Usually it's in video form then. So you like it when I post a short once a month, and you like it when I do a random video here or there, basically, is what you're saying. Oh man. It's so funny though, that for those that for those that that see me only in my hat, they think that I'm bald. And so when I don't wear a hat, they're like, whoa, whoa, I thought you were bald under there. No. I'm full gray, bro. Not full gray, but like 80% gray. It's a lot of gray hair, brother. It's a lot of gray hair. There's no dye under there. It's a lot of gray hair. Yeah, Rourke. I mean, he's a lottery ticket. You know what I mean? Should have drafted. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's listen, I I prefer the Shador lottery ticket over the Rourke if I'm drafting a quarterback late, but it's the draft, man. You just never know. And there's a lot that does come with Shador. Not necessarily his fault, more his dad, but there's a lot that comes with him for sure. Yeah, I mean, we have to talk about everything. Worst case scenario is like not the likely scenario. You know what I mean? The likely scenario is exactly what I laid out, which is a good scenario, which is the 49ers get their answer over the next 3 years and move on from him after 2027 or extend him after 2027. That's the most likely scenario. Is one of those things happening. Ryan is bald, but I don't know that he's like bald from a standpoint that he doesn't have hair. He just shaves his head. So I don't know that he's actually bald. That I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Uh, Ryan's not bald. Jesse, we still have questions. I just showed you. I just showed you I'm not bald. That's funny. Wait, what?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who is this guy? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Sellouts for what? What exactly did we sell out to? Actually, leave them out of it. What did I sell out to? I would love to hear this one. Go ahead. What did I sell out to? Throw it up. Throw it up. It is. But Shady, here's the awesome thing. Guaranteed money also runs out after this year for Brock. So that means that Brock, it's the same thing as Hertz. You know the Hertz deal. I think in 2029 for Hertz, that thing balloons up to like $75 million. He's never going to hit 75 million. Like Hertz is never going to see past this year in that deal without an extension. If Brock is that deal, he's going to get a rework of a contract. And again, this is in 25, 26, 27, 28, 2028. 57 million wouldn't be that crazy in 2028, but again, guaranteed money runs out. So Brock is either cut by then or a new contract is reworked by then. I mean, that's the reality. This number is never going to be the hit. It's never going to be the hit. So I'm not worried about it. But yes, absolutely. It would be crazy if it ever happened. Here's why it's a good deal though. Because you look at like Tua, for example, we talk 57 million. This 100% is going to hit their cap. This is next season for them. And they're not cutting him at $80 million. They're going to see a $57 million cap hit next year, in fact. And guess what? Goff is likely going to see a $70 million cap hit. So, I mean, technically, yes, they could rework it, but at his age, with that out, man, this is never going to be seen. That I do know. Now, why it's not seen, not quite sure. But yeah, 57 million. Now, again, if it was structured like the Tua deal, for sure it would suck. But dude, these cap hits are so good. The outs are so good. I'm still waiting for that other guy. Answer the question, sir. I gave you the floor. Skillet. What up, coach? It does feel that way, doesn't it? We'll see. Maybe he's just a Neanderthal when he types and he's like a Flintstone. And he just like, I type like I'm 90 years old and it's going to take him an hour. We'll see. It probably took him all show to get that one out. So I got to give him time. Shady says, I don't like y'all team and Purdy, but people saying overpaid and he shouldn't get paid. I laughed at that. I'm like, guys, let's not get crazy. He's good. Yeah, listen, I mean, my preference was to not give him the deal now. But again, I knew that was unrealistic. So it's like I can be disingenuous and sit here and be like, oh, I didn't get my way and I knew it was never possible. So no matter what, this deal sucks. Or I could say, all right, I knew this was going to happen. The day is finally here. Let's look at the deal for what it is and assess it. And I'm either going to assess it and look, and it's going to be written out like a Tua deal. And I'm going to say, 49ers are effed. They screwed up. What the hell are they doing? Kiss the future goodbye. Or I'm going to sit here and go, like I said I would, hey, man, if this thing's structured like the Hurts or the Love deal, 49ers are in good shape. And not only was it that, it was structured better than both of those deals. All I can do is analyze what's happened, what I knew was going to happen, and then look at it for what it is. And for what it is, this is the best quarterback deal for the guys that have gotten paid in the NFL. Period. ACJ says, if you want to see a bad contract structure, go see Kyler's deal. You know what? That's a very good point. I didn't even put that one on here. You're right. That was a horrible deal. So that's it. The 49ers have low cap hits and outs after 2026 and 2027. You can't ask for any more. It is. So let's compare it to the franchise tag again. Did this earlier, but I'll do it again. Now, we don't know. We don't have the exact figures in front of us. We don't have the exact figures for what the franchise tag will be. We have a guesstimate. An educated one, but it's a guesstimate. Next year's franchise tag would be roughly $46 million. Okay. Versus his cap hit is roughly $24.7 million. Well, the new deal, that's a win. Now, they don't have the same flexibility. Yes, in both scenarios after 2026, they could move on. The difference is if they did a franchise tag after 2026, they would have zero dead money hit the cap. Zero. Hey, Brock, you're not it. See you later. Zero dead money. However, in this scenario, they still have the out. They can still say, hey, Brock, it's not working out. See you later. But they're going to take a $36 million cap hit. Not awful. Not awful at all. You can survive with the $36 million cap hit. The 49ers have $76 million and dead cap this year alone. So in 2 years, if the cap goes up another 40 million, 36 million really isn't much. Okay. So they have the same flexibility of being able to get out like they could with the franchise tag. They have a lower cap number. They just have a dead cap hit that they wouldn't have with a franchise tag. So let's then move to the next year. If they franchise tagged him again, they would take roughly a $55 million franchise tag. All of that would hit the cap. So $55 million against the cap as well versus 31 million. So saving 24 million against the cap by doing it the way they did it. And they still have an out. Now, again, unlike the franchise tag, where they would have an out after the 2027 season and walk away with $0 hitting the cap, they'll take on a whole $16 million, which is nothing. Now, let's work out the other scenario, though. Let's say Brock is awesome and they want to keep him long term. Well, you take these cap hits. Yes, you've given yourself the flexibility of walking away. However, if after these 2 years they want to work out a new deal with Brock, you're looking at something closer, but even more money because we're 3 years later of immediate massive cap hits like you have with Tua and Goff. No way around it. Versus if Brock is awesome, after this year, they're going to go to Brock. They're going to restructure the deal. They're going to add years on, maybe even rip the deal up and do something new. And they're going to drive this cap number down again. And they're going to have a manageable cap number for the next 3 years. So if Brock is good, doing it this way is clearly the better option. If Brock isn't good, doing it this way would have been a slightly better option. But we're talking about maybe 10% better, not a big amount better. They still have awesome options if he's not. That's why this contract is a good contract. And you can compare it to these other ones. And it's just better. It is. Structures, yeah. Got that one. Shady says, it was smart, in my opinion. Your office gets bossed around anyway. Imagine if Purdy had balled and Stroud gets an insane contract, then you're in trouble. Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, and that's the other thing, is that between now and then, you're going to have a potential Stroud contract, a potential Jaden Daniels contract, a potential Drake May, Caleb Williams contract, a potential Mahomes rework deal, Hurts rework deal, Love rework deal, Lawrence rework deal. I mean, if they ride this out, when this cap hit comes around in 2027, this is going to be like the 20th highest cap hit in 2027. Like, this is not going to be anything. This, in 2027, we're going to look at this and go, what? He's getting how much against the cap? Okay. So you can have the best roster in the NFL if you've drafted well over the last couple years and sign a bunch of free agents? Sure can. Again, this is why it's not about being first. It's about getting it right. And when this deal dropped, I didn't react big one way or another. Because right now, I will say, if anybody is truly looking at this deal and saying it's a bad contract, I've either completely missed something altogether. There's a massive miss on my part that just somehow is not jumping off the screen. Or there's something other going on, because I don't know how you can look at this deal and be like, oh, this deal sucks. 49ers screwed the pooch. Unless you are a fan of another team and you're trolling. Like, for those that still aren't going to look into the details, and trust me, if you're on social media, there's going to be a big portion of fans across the NFL that are fans of other teams that are not going to look at this deal at all. They're going to still look at 53 million AAV and be like, man, he got overpaid. What, you guys are stupid. Okay. But they don't know any of the details, and they don't care to know. Coach's Huddle says, what's up, Coach? Says, awesome friggin' deal. He gets paid immediately. This isn't an extension. It's a completely new deal with early outs, front-loaded money, mint. Mint. Let me show you guys something here. For those of you that don't know how some of these things are calculated. So when you look at this and we say, okay, let's say the 49ers after 2026 want to move on from Brock. They're going to take a dead cap hit. Again, they'll have to make this decision before April 1st, because if they make it after, then there's going to be guaranteed money that rolls forward into 2027. Okay. But if they cut him after 2026, how does this figure get calculated? Where does this come from? Why would they take a $35 million cap hit? It's because you've got your signing bonus that is prorated over 5 years. After 2026, you've got 3 years. Even though he got this money up front, they're spreading the cap out over 5 years. So after the 2026 season, you're going to add this number, this number, this number. So 8,020,000 times 3, with the guaranteed money that he's still owed. And you're going to arrive at this number. That's why you take on a dead cap hit. So essentially at that point, Jed's still going to have to pay out of his pocket around $12 million. But the cap hit is much larger, because all this money here that was prorated, this 8 million, this 8 million, and 27, 28, and 29 hits immediately. You no longer get to prorate it because he's not on the roster. That's why what happens is, if a team chooses to make a post-June cut, which in this scenario they would never do, because more money will be awarded to him after April 1st. If teams choose to do a post-June 1st cut, this money doesn't go away. It just gets spread out over 2 years. So this 36 million would get broken up over 2 seasons, essentially. And so you're still paying the total amount is the same. It's just you're saying, hey, that cap hit's so high, we don't want to take it all in 1 year. Let's take some of it next year. But the overall amount does not change. You don't just, hey, people talk about a post June 1st cap hit. And it's like, oh, if we do that, we just save money. You don't save money. You just move money around. The money isn't saved. You're just simply moving it around. You're moving it from one bank account to the other. If you have $100,000, you have $100,000, whether it sits in just a savings account or you spread it to other accounts. You still have $100,000. If you cut him Not in Brock's scenario, because his contract's written a little bit differently. But let's just say you have a player that has roughly a 36 million dead cap hit. If you cut that player and do a post June 1st move, you're still going to pay 36 million in dead cap. It's not pay, but you're still going to show as 36 million against your salary cap. It's just going to be split over the course of 2 years. So that's how that works. I think most of you understand that. But there are some that don't care, or really just like truly don't understand. And so hopefully that makes sense for those of you that didn't understand how that worked. Shady Luke says this draft for the Niners will be crucial. I'm watching. Yeah, dude, this, in my opinion, is the most crucial draft in the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch era. It is the one that they just had. Now, how do these players pan out? I don't know. A little bit different, right? I mean, because technically that money can go up and down depending on when you pull it out. But yeah, roughly the same. Thank you, sir. 49ers and Brock put together the masterclass, though. Ha! Yes. The answer is yes. Parag does deserve his flowers. For sure. One more time, I want to throw this out to you guys. For those of you that are in the chat, you're going to see a link pinned to the top of the chat. What that is that's for an event to the the 49ers Rams game. 49ers go first here. 49ers Rams game, Thursday Night Football, Week 5. The event is a 2-day event. It's Wednesday night. You get to kick it with me, 3 other content creators that represent the other NFC West teams, and then anybody else who decides to come to the event. We're going to do a live pod from an amazing venue, top-notch venue in LA the night before the game. We're going to tailgate the day of the game. And then we're all going to sit together at the game. The link is going to take you to put down a $100 deposit to secure your spot for that. If we get enough deposits, we will move forward. We will purchase tickets. At that point, we will reach out to everybody and make sure that they're still in. You will pay an additional $200, so $300 total. That'll get you tickets to the game to sit with myself and the other content creators. That will get you tickets to the event the night before, and you'll join us in the tailgate party. And if the event doesn't go forward, or you decide, hey, not in anymore, that $100 deposit would be refunded to you. So that's what that's for. That's what the link is for. Hopefully you want to join. If you want to do so, please put the deposit down today, and we're going to have an awesome time. All right, calm down, bro. Chill out. There's no room for that in here. Hold on a second. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I thought that was someone else in here that said something. Dude, it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast, coach. I can't wait for it. I'm excited. That's what I'm saying, man. Where's that guy at? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? All right, y'all, listen. I'm going to go watch the playoffs. I don't even know. That game could be over for all I know. Holy crap, it's late. But for those of you that missed, go back to the beginning. I broke it down multiple times. Bottom line is 49ers crushed this contract. This is the best, not one of the, this is the best written contract of all of the quarterbacks who have recently signed a deal. The 49ers crushed it. Brock Purdy also has life-changing money. You should be very happy for him. The 49ers have low cap hits. They have multiple outs. They have early outs. Masterclass. They crushed this deal. Nothing but positive things. I hope you all have a blessed night. Much love. Peace.